2, 1. We're live. Hi,
Hi,
everybody.
everybody.
Hi,
We still have it
everybody.
on private chat. Do we have to do that or you?
You can, there's little things on the top on the right. You can move over
Okay.
to
Okay, great.
comments.
We got it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yay.
Yay.
Hi, Juno, G. Covington, Starfish. Yippee.
Running away
Yay,
from
yay. The
home.
gang's all here.
Right.
Hi, everybody, and running away from home and Starfish and Junosphere. Thanks for coming. And
Wow.
everybody, in case you have not met, this is Heather and Priscilla. These ladies are from the Crone Zone. They have their own YouTube channel, and it is a hit sensation. They are amazing.
Thank you.
They are amazing, wise crones that share their knowledge, experience, um, and just their practices, their essence with us, and it's just a beautiful combination. It's a wealth of knowledge, and I think you really sparked a lot of people, into stepping it up a notch. We need to start getting into
Yes.
You're so kind. Thank you. Are we frozen to you? Because I look frozen to me. Now it's starting to move.
Yeah. It
Just let
freezes
us
off and
know.
on.
Just a little bit, just a little
Okay.
bit. I think it
Once in a
should
while.
correct itself.
Thank you for
Yeah.
all those kind words.
Thank you.
Oh, you're
We're having a
welcome.
heck of a good time with it too. We've met so many beautiful people in this community, people like you, even.
Yes.
I mean, it's so interesting, our connection that most of these people won't know about yet, but maybe we can talk a little bit about how we first met because it was certainly interesting for both of us.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I just think that's fascinating, and yes, we can share when and whatever you'd like. Um, and we have Ron and Sherry Luke and Lauren Hunts Huntsinger and Mary Ellen Jenkinson. Hi, everybody. Thanks
Wow.
for
Hi,
coming
guys.
by. And this is Heather and Priscilla from the Crone Zone, and their YouTube information is in the description. And if there's any moderators in there, want to pop in their YouTube page and go on over and subscribe. They have really high level, advanced, very forward moving, forward thinking type of information there, as well as very basic information that it's very important to get that baseline and the understanding before we start advancing up. I know that I was on with Allie and we were talking about some advanced type of concepts, and a couple of people weren't sure like what we were referring to in the chat,
Hmm.
misunderstanding like the level or the perspective of
Right.
where we were coming from,
Mhm.
so
It can happen.
Yeah.
mhm,
You
mhm.
just
It has,
forget,
yeah.
or you weren't introduced to it. In either way.
Mhm.
Sometimes I think we're too basic, and then other times I think we're not basic enough. It just, but I learned. We both learn every show that we do
Mhm.
when we're researching. We're both like, I didn't know that, or I totally forgot about that.
Right.
I've read so many books on spirituality,
Mhm.
and really at one point, I think it was Esther Hicks said, "You have to do. Quit reading and go do."
Exactly.
But I was like, well, I'm not quite sure how to do.
Right.
So now we can help people understand how to do a little
Right.
bit because a lot of us
How
have
to
been there.
start doing
How to start
what
doing
they
things.
do is strictly theirs.
Yeah.
Mhm,
It's
mhm.
individual. It's individual to each of us because
Mhm.
nobody knows what we need to know for
Right. And
ourselves.
everybody is different and they grow differently.
Yeah.
So,
Some people come in with an understanding and a knowing, and they kind of already do a practice without even realizing this is a practice to
That
do.
too.
right.
Mhm.
That's right.
Like Heather not realizing how gifted she was, that she was doing things her entire life that
I just thought everybody did it.
that everybody did, like remote viewing. Oh yeah, we all do that, don't we? Those kinds of things that you're like, oh, hello. How did I not know that?
Mm-hmm.
Forever.
Mhm.
I thought everybody did that.
Mm-hmm.
But those
I have a really
things
good
just,
imagination.
I think a lot of us are more open than we realize because of the way that we live our life. And we don't recognize that we're actually doing for other people, and we are on the right path, and that we do live from our hearts.
Absolutely.
And so
And
many people in this group, I know they live from their heart because I can tell from the chat room.
absolutely. If you are here watching this, you also live from your heart. You also are a seeker. You also are a vibrational frequency that matches this information. And
Or you wouldn't be here.
right?
They are,
Absolutely.
as you say, beautiful beings of light.
That's right. That's right. It's a beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, T Barb, for sharing that with everybody. I appreciate that. So, one of the things I'd like to discuss with you and everybody watching today is your one of your shows that you had, and I'm sorry, was it show number 58? Do you remember the number? I don't
48.
have.
I think it was 48.
No, that's not numbered here.
I know I forgot to number it, but it's on my phone. I've got
Okay.
it right here. I'm pretty
It's
sure it was 48.
and it was spiritual openness, and I thought how
Opening your
important.
heart is what I have here, but I don't know what it is on
It's
YouTube. But it is
spiritual openness.
48.
Mhm. Mhm. And it was just so amazing, the different items that you were discussing, and I thought it's really important for us to get this and break it down and talk to others, and to have them understand a little bit, like give examples or discussions around this.
Sure.
So if you don't mind, I'm just going to go ahead and refer.
Yeah.
And the first thing what I would like to say is the way I describe your soul's essence and spirituality versus just the human experience, or not just, but the human experience, is it's very subtle, very subtle. We
Mhm.
all think we're going to hear thunder and lightning, or we're going to see an apparition walk down the hall or something. It's very subtle. It's very gentle, and there's just slight nuances that is important for us to pay attention to, and it's almost like it's like a little pinhole. And then once we start paying attention to it and we start focusing on it, then the pinhole gets bigger, gets bigger, gets bigger, and then you can see and you can understand. There's
That's a
like
beautiful way to put it.
there's a communication there that we can go in and out of, and we can see like this spiritual world and our egoic world. And I'm not sure I love the word ego. It's just like the human essence. It's because we're here in this human body in this density, and we have a soul inside of us that is also um, located on the other side in the higher realms, for lack of a better term. And that's what we call our higher self. But a
Right.
piece or an aspect of our higher self is inside of
Resides in our heart.
yes, each and every
Absolutely.
human,
That's
each and
right.
every human. And this is what the awakening is awakening to, we're not only just the human aspect, we're also the soul aspect or the
Mhm.
spiritual aspect.
I'm
And
not real
this
fond of the word ego either, but I do like to call it my monkey mind. Because mine, I don't know about you guys, but mine chatters and it can be ugly. And that's why I know it's the monkey mind and not my soul, because my mind chatter, when it's the ego, is usually not, it doesn't have to be negative, but it's not exactly positive. Whereas when I'm speaking from my heart, there's no doubt where it's coming from. It comes from that unconditional love.
Right.
That's how I recognize the difference.
And Scott Spiritual Essence just came in. He said he's back from a long trip. thank you for coming, Scott.
Oh,
Thank
great to
you.
see you.
And I think that
Can I
But
just say something real quick?
yeah,
This is how cool our community is here. I met Scott. I had a reading on television with Scott. And he and Heather and I have been together in I don't know how many lives, but we have been together in past lives. Scott was my son, and and I don't know if it was the same life, but he's also been a brother to Heather. Now, also, when I met Sun Psychic Jean, we found out that we've been connected for many, many, many years and
yes,
lifetimes.
yes.
So, you guys, we're meant to be here, each and every one of us, and we seem to know each other from many lives in many other places.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry, but I really wanted to say that because it's so funny that you, Scott, Heather, me, and
Everybody
knows?
is so connected.
so connected
Yes.
spiritually.
Even if we don't know how,
Mhm.
we are.
Exactly.
We know each other.
The entire community, not just that comes and watches us here, but watches. There's a collective in the community that we all are, fans of one another, and we support one another, and it's just really very beautiful. And it's no accident that we're kind and generous and friendly to one another, and we're in our heart space. Nobody is
Right.
mean or snarky on the comments and stuff, not unless we get a troll, but
Yeah, but that happens.
it's just no accident for sure.
I agree.
The healing medium is here too. Hi, Kevin. Thanks for stopping by. So what I wanted to kind of do is just to try and help to explain a little bit about what I've learned when I'm connecting to the other side, and how subtle it is, and how not accessible it is within each and every one of us. Each and every one of us has our own soul that is a aspect from our higher self that is inside of our human aspect right now. And everyone is able to access it. And when we first start, like I said, it's that little pinhole. It's very subtle. You have to look for it. And it's almost like a spark, like a divine spark inside of us, inside of our heart. And it's this divine spark that you want to focus on, concentrate on. That's why everything is found inside, because the aspect of our soul is inside, and our soul is the higher knowing. And this is where we receive and collect the information and the guidance.
That's
It's from-
right. And one way to connect is that heart-brain coherence, which will connect your heart and brain. It's I don't know, Greg Braden or Joe Dispenza who came up with that, but there's quite a bit of information about heart-brain coherence. And I don't know if you want to post that.
Yep. I'm ready whenever you are.
But it only takes like 5 minutes. Are you guys in the chat room familiar with this? I don't know that we need to read it.
HeartMath is what Juno is.
Yes, it's heartmath.com, I think is what it is.
Right.
I believe it is.
But there's a lot of them, different ones out.
And if it says it takes up to 3 days for neurons to grow, it takes up 3 days to set up that link between your heart and your brain. And just by taking deep breaths and feeling love and compassion and gratitude while you're breathing, and your hand on your heart, or however you want to do it. But I think this is a lovely way to connect with, get out of my brain and into my heart.
And I personally think it never hurts to repeat it every once in a while.
Exactly.
To help
start
strengthen
your
it.
day right before lunch, just before bed, anytime.
Right.
Waiting in line is also a great time. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, just think about how you're waiting in line and pissed off because it's taking forever to get your license, and you're looking at your watch. Well, you could do this instead.
Just sit there and go zen and go
Let's go
inside.
zen.
And everybody will be wondering what you're taking.
I kind of like to surprise people by doing weird things like that in public.
I go,
If my purple hair doesn't get them first.
exactly.
The quick heart-brain coherence exercise.
Do you want me to
And
read it?
yeah, sure, if you can.
So focus the heart focus. First you focus on your heart, then you feel. So focus your attention in the area of your heart, in the center of your chest, and place your hand on your heart. Imagine your breath flowing in and out through that area. Inhale for the count of 5 and exhale for the count of 5. As you continue to breathe through the area of your heart, embrace the feelings of gratitude for the good things in your life, your home, your life, the love of your friends and family. The key words here are appreciation, gratitude, care, and compassion. Keep this up for 3 to 5 minutes. Feel the change in your energy as you open your eyes and come back to full awareness. And that's all there is to it.
Just make it a habit.
Just make it a habit, and you'll notice the change. Just reading it, I can feel it.
Yeah, yeah. And this is a beautiful place to begin. And it's a fundamental exercise that never gets old. It's something that no matter how experienced or how advanced you become, this is always applicable. And just a beautiful example of how to connect to our own soul, our own spirit,
Yes.
and just understanding the concept of the human aspect and the soul aspect, and that we're living on this earth with both of them guiding us is
That's
a
right.
is
We're a soul experiencing life in a human body, not a human body experiencing a soul.
Yeah. Or not a human body with a soul. You're the soul that has
With the
body.
human body. We're just a fractal off our main soul,
Yes.
wherever that may reside.
Yes. And so what that means is that we all have the divine inside of us. We are all, somebody was asking me for reading from their spirit guides. And I said, your spirit guide is right here. I said, your spirit guide is not somebody that you want to worship or look up to or say, it's angels. Yes. But spirit guide is somebody who's really, you are as important and as powerful as your spirit guide. The only difference is you're shrouded in this
Forgetfulness.
yes, the forgetfulness, the amnesia, and your spirit guide doesn't have that and is knowing and is here guiding you. But it's something to befriend, it's something to welcome in, it's something to accept as part of you, and it's not something to worship. And I thought that was really
It's
important.
actually what I recently learned is that our guardian angel, particularly, is just another aspect of ourselves. And many of our spirit guides, ooh, chills, are aspects of ourselves from the future, from another timeline,
another
dimension. But
and when you say that, what I think of is that it's soul family too, because ourselves is this huge soul family where different aspects of this soul family are incarnating and helping. But do you remember when I did Scott's? I don't know if you watched it on his show, his
reincarnation.
past life regression, and he watched himself being born as this entity that he's seen, and this entity was his I would assume his guardian angel. It's up to Scott to interpret this, but this guardian that I was feeling watching Scott be born knew that he was so proud that a part of him was being incarnated into this baby, and Scott could see that.
Wow.
I was blown away. I said,
that's Scott. He's pretty gifted.
I never, ever thought I would be able to be in that position where I am looking out of the eyes of his guide,
your own body,
or what is his guardian angel, and then watching Scott be born, just barely, just you get the idea, the energy of
Mhm.
some birth, and the feeling that this entity had, the love, the compassion, the joy that he was able to impart this in this human being to incarnate on this earth. It was a magical experience. If you
Oh, I
haven't
bet.
watched that, please go back, and it's on Scott's channel, and it's an amazing. He
It
had,
is.
yeah, he
It
had,
is amazing.
that one really changed my paradigm. It really
Interesting.
changed. Yeah, yeah, really changed a lot for me. I was like, wow. If that, I mean, just the knowledge, the information that comes through
Mhm.
when we do some exploring or, just soul searching, and
Mhm.
the information that comes through, it's really amazing. Yeah.
It's amazing how much you learn from reading other people too.
Right.
Rather than just doing your own soul searching, your own thing, but to be involved in that kind of love and respect from the other side with that many people that you're reading, that's a gift. That's a huge gift. And
Scott
beautiful.
Scott is spiritual essence, right? Just
Yes.
Yes.
spiritual essence.
Scott Allen's spiritual
Oh,
essence.
Scott Allen's spiritual
Mhm.
essence. Yeah. So Dave Maud wants to know what channel he wants to go over. And yeah,
Well,
yeah,
he's on there, but yes,
yeah.
he was in the chat room.
The birth angel and your life protector to finish your contract. Wow. Yeah,
Interesting.
it's so very multidimensional, and they're concepts that I know that Dolores Cannon says you have to feed a baby a spoonful at a time. You can't put a whole steak in front of the baby, So
True.
this is I know, I love when she says that. And this is sometimes we get ahead of ourselves, like when we're watching different readers and different things come through, and we talk about angels or we talk about different aspects and different scenarios, and we're like, wait a minute, what are they talking about? And you
Mhm.
kind of miss the backstory. So that's what we were just I Priscilla and Heather had a beautiful show recently. It's number 48. And I just thought it was really important to maybe take a step back and review some of the concepts. Yeah? You ready to start that?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Okay. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about is the willingness to examine or reevaluate our current beliefs. And this is like
Right.
the spark, the beginning.
That's right.
That's right.
We have to, well, I call that 4D when you actually start wondering. 3D, you're kind of in the
This is the
zone and
way
you're
things
just,
are. This is how they've always been. This is how they're always going to
yeah,
be.
just unconsciously living your life. And then 4D is when you open up a little bit and you say,
Why?
All right.
why?
And,
We're like 2-year-olds. Why?
Why?
Yeah.
that's good.
Because
And
3D, you're hard headed and you've got your ways that you do things, and that's what you've always been told,
I've been taught,
and you
this
do
is
it
what
by
you're supposed to
rote.
do.
And I was never very good at that.
As an autopilot.
Autopilot.
we
Yeah.
do have another graphic, and this is a good point to bring this one up. Let me just make sure it's as big. Yeah, that's as big as it gets. So this,
We can read it. I don't know about anybody else, but we
go
got a
ahead.
huge TV. So yeah, 3D is low, dense vibrational frequencies, operates in duality and separation. People operating from 3D look at things from a linear perspective and only understand what they can see and touch as being reality. Yeah, like living on autopilot. Life feels like the survival of the fittest, and you're identified by the way you look, the job you have, and the car you drive. In this in this consciousness, there are many programs that condition the human mind to operate in this state. Ooh, we could go
And
down that rabbit hole. I don't know.
Yeah.
there's absolutely nothing wrong with 3D. 3D is
No,
beautiful. It
No.
is a pure human experience,
it
and
is
we can
purely
find.
human.
And you can
Mhm.
just stay there and be perfectly happy. There's nothing wrong with it.
And
You
lots of
can
people do.
Your soul can grow, your soul can experience, and your soul can have a very fulfilling experience in this human aspect, and live a beautiful 3D life. There's nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with
No,
it.
and if you've
Exactly.
never led a 3D life, then that's exactly what you're here for, is to lead that 3D life.
Right.
So there's no judgment about whether it's 3D, 4D, or 5D. They're just examples of how things
Just what
change
are.
in the frequency.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
all about frequency. So when you're saying, you start to question things and open that little hole and go, that's 4D. It's the gateway to 5D, but it still operates in duality.
Okay, I'll bring that up in a second, but
Okay.
what is the fundamental reason why we're being introduced to this information, and why are we all urged to learn a little bit more about the ascension? What is it just generally does that mean? What does the ascension mean?
I think it is the raising of the frequency of the vibration of the planet and the human collective, all of us on the planet.
And the general dissatisfaction of how things are.
I
We want something better.
People, and it has to do with information that we're receiving from the galactic center, from our sun. We're having it's a prophecy that humankind and Mother Earth will
Evolve
and keep growing.
Evolve and keep growing and evolving. That we are a peace treaty for the rest of the universe. That's why they're all watching us. That's why we see so many UFOs these days.
We have so much of everybody in us that when we succeed, they all succeed.
And we're talking about different planetary races. So, I mean, we've gone here, we've jumped and gone out into space now. I'm sorry if you didn't want to go there, but that's where we believe that, and it's just our Crone opinion, that we are a genetic modification of many, many, many different extraterrestrial races put here as an experiment, as a learning planet, and as a experiment.
Trying to form something perfect.
Trying to form something completely of love. Unconditional love and unity consciousness, not just to raise our vibration, but the entire universe. So I think that makes us humans and those living in 3D, 4D, or 5D pretty darned important to the universe.
Right. And it's not just the universe, it's our planet. It's everybody's planet. Everything is involved.
It's really just consider the concept, the notion, the possibility, and explore it for yourself. Think about it.
Absolutely.
And read about it. Listen to other YouTubers that have these philosophies, these teachings. There's a lot of this information came through channeled information, like back. Who was the Seth books, or the Seth readings and information?
Jane
and Bashar.
Yes.
Jane Montgomery, was that her name? Jane?
Yes, that sounds right. That sounds
something
right.
Like
I don't know
yes,
her
name. The Seth books. Did you read those back in the day? They were like in the 70s, 60s, or 70s.
Our family didn't have anything like that.
So 4D is the gateway to 5D, but still operates in duality. It's the beginning of recognizing that there's something more than the self. I like that. The ego, the monkey mind. 4D consciousness begins to awaken you to the idea that we are all connected and there is more to life than what meets the eye. This is when we become curious about self-exploration and beginning to connect to something more than ourselves. This is often referred to as an awakening. So that's perfect. That fits right in line with it.
And we notice how unbalanced everything is that when we're there.
Yeah, we start questioning the status quo and the
Mhm.
programming and the what we've been told, or a lot of philosophies or religions that have
Right.
philosophies and teachings that were just they just weren't based on the human soul aspect.
That's right.
And it's a relearning and an unlearning. And I think that that's where we were going here, the courage to address new possibilities and
Where'd
where's the
that
other
go?
one? Here. The link to our minds. Sorry. Willingness to hold space. There is one right here. Adapt to new ideas and purpose. And this is where we start breaking away from the general programming that we've all been taught since we were children. And it's
Hmm.
we understand and we feel as though there's information that just doesn't jive with us. It's our own vibration, it's our own awareness. There is this little awareness behind you throughout your entire life that says, they really believe that? Like, oh, that doesn't sound right. But because we're taught in such a manner and everybody falls in line, we just kind of go with it because we feel as though, well, it must be me because everybody else seems to
So
go
right
for it.
on. You're so
Right.
right. I can remember
And-
feeling that way from a little kid.
And I kind of see it as the heart saying to our monkey mind, "Are you sure about that? I really
Exactly.
think this, but you sure? Well, that's what everybody told me. Are you sure?" I
Yeah.
think that's the heart starting the questions.
Right. Right. And it's just breaking away and starting to consider that there's more
There's more to
than
us
what.
than what we think.
Mhm,
Mhm.
mhm.
I don't know if anybody's watched Gaia TV, but we watched during the pandemic when we couldn't go anywhere. We quit watching television, regular television, and we could really tell the difference. You could almost see the programming jumping out at you whenever we turn on a commercial or a sitcom, something like that. It was just so in your face, the programming. You've got to look like this. You've got to wear this to be happy. You got to drive this car. You got to do this. Buy, 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 buy. Everything was all about you got to have. Nothing about who you are inside. It's all of, so anyway, we left television and went over to Gaia and started watching a lot more spiritual shows on that. So if you want openings, how to get started, how to open your eyes a little bit to something different.
How to help your heart pose more questions to your brain.
Right.
Mhm.
Try out the
Let's-
Gaia channel. They have a ton of shows.
Yeah, it's thought provoking and it's something that you can consider. I mean,
Mhm.
and if it doesn't resonate with you, either it just isn't.
Isn't for you. I'm a big one on does it resonate with my heart? And I can talk to watch people that I think are totally full of it, but there may be one grain that I resonate with and think it was worth watching just for that one grain. But that's discernment, and you have to know what the truth is for you. You have to learn that yourself. That kind of.
And we're never, well, not never. It's rare that we're 100% all the way one way or the other. It's very common when we're going through this evolution or this awakening. It's been like 20 or 25 years for me. It's not something that you walk and talk every single moment of every day. Now, there are some spiritualists and some, people who do this, and it would be, my goal. And it's very difficult to live in the 3D world, like we mentioned, and begin this spirituality because there's so many dueling concepts and conflicting ideas and beliefs. Like we all get in the car and drive to most of us get in the car and drive to our jobs every day. And it's like, just there's no spirituality in there. There's no awareness. There's kindness, compassion, there's friendship,
And
you
that's the
can.
start. That is the
Mhm.
start.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. So we're not proposing expectations that are unattainable. We're just proposing thought, consideration, and maybe suggest exploring. And to understand that this is where we're coming from, is that we're mentioning these things. And when we talk about these things, our vibration naturally rises. And when we get together with a group of us, our vibration naturally rises, our frequency rises. And this brings us closer to our soul aspect. So all of these things are spiritual
Closer
practices.
to the divine.
Yeah.
But you always need to use that discernment and what's right for you.
Absolutely.
Because it may not be right for you. It may be right for somebody else, but not for you. So you need to use your discernment at all times to help you decide what it is that you agree with and what you don't.
Yeah. Don't force yourself to listen to anyone or to read anything. I remember it was so hard. I must have started a book 3 or 4 times, and I'm like, I must not be meant to read this. It must not be important for me to read. It was just, there was something about my eyes would just get blurry and I couldn't get through the book. And I thought, you know what? This information just isn't for me. Like the guides or
I'm
your.
telling you, it takes 3 times for me. If I get a message like that, if something like that happens like 3 times, it's like, okay, I get it. Leave it alone. Okay, I'm good. But it does. I usually make it take 3 times too, because I'm hard-headed.
I really, really begin to question it too. But I want the third to confirm.
Exactly.
So Heather, either Heather or Priscilla, I'm on page 11, or the page that has 11 on it, and it's the one where it's mind-oriented spirituality. I'd like to really jump up to this section.
That I agree. That
it's the 4th block down. It says mind-oriented spirituality. And if we could talk about that.
And that's on page 11?
Well, it's where it says number 11 on it.
Number 11.
It's page 7. I see the page numbers now.
Okay.
Sorry.
That confused me.
Yes. Mind-oriented spirituality. Do you want to read that?
Yes, I would like to. Yes. Okay.
Well, I can read it.
Go ahead.
Mind-oriented spirituality is when we unconsciously believe that freedom, purpose, or spirit enlightenment can somehow be found through teachings and concepts. It can't. It's through. That's your mind saying that, and it's got to be through your heart.
Yeah, it's the exact opposite. We have to unlearn everything we ever knew, right?
We have to learn it through
and learn it from the heart,
because the heart doesn't think the same way.
That's
and
right.
What this means is that we can have a lot of modalities. We can have a lot of classes. We can read a lot of different books and teachings and things like this. And this is important to learn the language, learn the concept, the landscape and the concepts and how they all fit together, the terminology, the definitions and the concepts. However, we don't actually ever start participating until we start unlearning, right? Unlearning and go deep into our own soul and listen to our own spiritual guidance.
And let your heart discern what is right for you and what is not.
Because it doesn't matter if 30 people think that Jean knows everything and she's just wonderful and I need to pay attention to everything she says. It's not like that at all. You don't. You need to listen to what's in here, not what's up there or out there.
It may be a guru for the wrong reason that you're following.
It's really important that we all have our own individuality, our own reasons, our own lessons, our own guidance, and it's important to have a little bit of both, but it's important to start your own. Get in touch with your own soul, your own spirit, and start developing and they call it meditation. People are like, no way, I don't want to meditate. You just have to connect. Just sit
Just be quiet for
be
a little
silent.
bit.
Yeah.
Just sit in silence for a
it's
little
like
bit.
when you planned your journey before you came in, you knew what you needed. And your heart knows that. So if you're listening to your heart, then you're taking your journey, not somebody else's.
Oh, that's beautiful. I
Yours.
love that. Great way to put it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's the individuality is really important so that we all start to
Mhm.
practice raising our vibration and to connect to the higher dimensions and higher frequency. This is where we're moving. And let's jump back over to
I think there's some ways we can do that we listed in here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's go ahead.
Yeah, like spending time in solitude, disconnecting from the world around you, turning off your phone, turn the phone electronics off. Just sit there quietly for a few minutes with no interruptions. That's solitude. And you know what another one is that I failed to do because I'm always worried about somebody else is taking care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge one. We have to learn to take care of ourselves. We've been taught as women to care for other people. That's our job, is to take care of those around us. But you know what? You can't do it if you haven't taken care of yourself first.
And you have to listen to yourself to do that.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So those are two really good ways. Did you see some more, Jean?
Well, the unprogramming.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This is fun going
In
through
nature. The
Yes.
closer we are to true nature.
Give yourself a chance to feel joy. What's wrong
Yes.
with joy?
Yeah, have fun and smile.
I mean, okay, you may have some anger once in a while, but that joy cancels that out. It's like hot and cold. It just it helps with your healing.
Absolutely, it does.
Mm-hmm.
Laughter helps you heal, whatever kind of healing that is, right? Spiritual, physically.
Yeah, and I think what Heather is referring to is when they say follow your bliss. When you do things that you love, if you love to draw, if you love to play music, if you love to garden, and this is something that makes your spirit happy. I know when I get together with the girls on Friday, every other Friday with Terry and Terry, I get these little like flutters inside that I can feel my spirit gets excited that we're all together.
I love that.
It's like a little kid is getting.
I've heard you say that. It's beautiful. And you guys are so connected when you're reading. It's like one gets it and gets a little bit from you, and then the other one gets a little bit from you, and you get a little bit from there. It just is phenomenal, the three of you.
And it's the way that my spirit likes to play. It's the way my spirit likes to express. It's my soul's desire is to do this. And when you feel this bliss, that's what you need to keep doing.
That's really what you need to do.
It also takes a little bit of the pressure off of every single one of you, because every single one of you are contributing. It's not down to, I have to say everything, because somebody else is going to say part of it for you.
You're right.
So it takes the pressure off of you, and you can just have fun.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Really, instead of trying to do everything by yourself online. That's a hard one.
And that's contagious when you watch us and we're, having a great time and we're really reaching with spirit, and spirit comes through with some crazy or really profound kind of readings. And you're like, oh my gosh, that's my son or something, It's really, it lifts our vibration, and then it's contagious with your vibration. Your vibration lifts by watching us, and it's all very contagious. So if each one of us on this planet followed our bliss, can you imagine how high the vibration would be?
Right?
Can you imagine
how sixth dimensional? Forget fifth dimensional.
That's like kumbaya, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because the higher you go, the higher you will continue to go.
Exactly. You will
go way up there.
One thing I want to say about the feelings and stuff. Back in the day when I first started my path 20, 30 years ago. I'm not even sure now. People in the community felt like you had to be happy all the time, that you had to be sweet all the time. And I didn't understand it. And I finally got confirmation that that is absolute nonsense. The best way to heal is to feel those emotions, no matter what they are: anger, sadness, grief, whatever. Feel it as deeply as you can, and then let it go. Because that's the only way you can learn from it. It's the only way you can heal from it. You're not supposed to not feel anger. We live in a duality. You're going to feel good, bad, happy, sad. That's the human experience.
And that's what we came for.
So feel it and let it go. And it gets easier the higher you raise your vibration. The lows aren't quite as low. The highs aren't manic. They're not quite as high. But you find a happy medium in there, and it's all about the balance. And it's all about where we're moving towards as far as ascension goes. Ascension is partly balancing out the duality, the divine male, the divine female, the essences of those energies, so that we get to a place of unity consciousness.
And you can feel that.
Yes.
And you feel the balance, and when you feel the balance, you can be happy.
Mm-hmm.
And just
so if you get pissed off at something, it's okay. You're not ruining your karma. You're not hurting anything unless you keep hold of it. It's holding on to that anger, holding on to that discomfort.
Yeah. And that also it brings me to having perspective on things. Try not to take everything so personally, and look at it objectively, from above,
neutral.
down on the situation. And don't say, why is this happening to me? Say, what can I learn from this?
What's my lesson here?
Where's the opportunity for me to grow in this situation? And it really diffuses the
energy,
the defensiveness that we have when certain things occur. It's just a perspective. It's a way to contemplate, even after something happens. Say you have a big blow up, you scream and you cry, you throw a couple of things, and then afterwards you can say, you can gain that perspective. You can learn from it. You can get to the other side and you feel better. And you say, look, I see what happened. I misunderstood or something. And we just learn from it. We have a little bit of a different perspective, not from just our ego, but from the spiritual side, if that makes sense.
Well, that's true. And besides, when you're angry at someone else, remember, they can't do anything to you that you don't allow them to do. Right. It's your perspective of what that person is doing. That's the only way it can hurt you, is for you to take it inside.
And if you're finding this difficult, there's absolutely nothing wrong with asking for help.
Yes.
They can't help you unless you ask.
Right. Yes, that's an important thing to remember. Your spirit guides can't do anything if you don't ask.
Right.
They need us to participate.
And
they're not going to do it for us.
Really like to ask for help.
I'm
not one.
Well, I know that Joan, Wisdom Seeker Joan, was on your channel, and you were interviewing her, and she said many things that were really brilliant. And she was sharing one particular point when she was raising her son, and her husband was out of town, and the baby was just crying and crying, and she was exhausted. She didn't have sleep for a couple of nights. And she just screamed out of desperation, help me, just because she didn't know what to do with the baby. I mean, it's very, very trying situation. And she said she heard spirit give her directions. She said,
I know, that was phenomenal.
Pat 3 times, sit back down. And she said, don't you know that baby was asleep?
I know, that was hilarious. It's divine. It's just divine intervention, and it's there anytime we want it if we just pay attention and ask.
And
ask and pay attention.
Yeah. So
Then
even
listen for the answer.
yeah, and
Yeah.
believe it. Yeah. So let's go ahead over to the last concept here for
Oh, right.
the levels of ascension.
5D consciousness resides in love and neutrality, what we were just talking about. There's no duality and no good or bad. In 5D, there's no competition, and we know there is enough in the universe for everyone. You feel overwhelming emotions of love and compassion for life, Mother Earth, and the stars. In this space, we live free from conditioning and free in oneness with yourself and others. This is known as self mastery and will create peace on earth. Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. And I think that most of the people here in the chat, we've all experienced bits of 5D. We live in 5D part of the time until we slip back into 3D or 4D. you know, but you can see in your own progress those moments when you reach it, and you never want to leave it.
True.
But we are human.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And it's just something that is I think it's important to consider. I think it's important to contemplate and to wonder that if we all behave this way or incorporated some of these um, processes into our own lives, how different the world would be, how different the frequency would be. And if we didn't have disdain for others or hatred for others or judgment for others, and we just said, look at that person, they're experiencing that in their life. That's a shame. I'm experiencing this in my life. We all
Thank
have our
God.
own,
Mhm.
and that choice is called free will. And we
It
all
is.
have free
right.
will to do the right thing, to do the compassionate thing, to love, to have a higher vibration, to walk in communion with our spirit and behave with love and compassion for one another. And also, it's a some people, it might help you to know that when you talk to somebody or you greet somebody or you cut somebody off, that that human has the same aspect that you have. So if that human has a soul in them and you have a soul in you, it's like a mirror of you. So if you wouldn't want to be cut off, don't cut off. Don't cut off somebody because you're only doing it to yourself. If you're being spiteful, if you're being vindictive, you're only doing it to yourself. It's very,
Yes.
it kind of comes back at you. So if you send out love, then it comes back tenfold. If you give everybody prayers and healing energy and love, it comes back tenfold. Now, nobody's perfect. I mean, believe me, I have meltdowns. I say, oh my gosh, that guy's a crazy nut. You just do. You just do. But
Yeah.
it's,
It
it's,
kind of reminds me of the saying, you help or you make a difference one person at a time,
Mm.
because that's one-on-one. You may say nothing more than the good morning. You also have that concept of paying it forward, where you're doing something first and then they can do something positive later, but that all grows and it all spreads.
Because it's love and compassion, and it
And
creates more love and compassion.
And it's one
Just
person at a
like
time.
anger and fear create more anger and fear.
Right.
We don't need any more of that. This world is full of anger and fear. Let's blast it with unconditional love and unity consciousness and awareness and spread it.
Spread that instead.
I became quite good at getting people out of debt. I got some family members out of debt, and I got my cousin out of debt, and a couple of friends, and helped them. And yeah, it's a huge thing, and it's
That's a
very
huge thing in
emotionally
freedom.
tied. And my friend said, how can I pay you? I can't ever repay you. You're helping me so much. And I said, when somebody you see needs help, you can help them. I said, because guess what? I'm helping you because somebody was able to help me. And that's all we ask is pay it forward. And it was a really large lesson for me. I was in a real pickle at one point in my life. And I just thought, I'll never be able to get ahead. I'll never be able to step forward. And somebody stepped in and showed me and helped me to figure it out. And I do this for others. And it's just really a beautiful concept. So thank you
It
for
is.
mentioning that, pay it forward.
We had one student in high school when I was in that part of education. And between the counselor and myself, we got him to school every day because he had to pay for his own gasoline.
Wow.
There's a big story about it, but he had originally the money. His parents ended up with it. But we ended up keeping him coming back to school. But he wanted to come back to school, but didn't have any money for gas. And I noticed at the football games the year after, because he did graduate and went on into school, but he seemed to kind of avoid us. And so I just hunted him down one day and says, I don't want the money back.
Oh,
When you're working as a mechanic someday and you have somebody else who has the same kind of issues that you had, you have to help them. Okay? He says, yeah, I can do that. I said, okay.
yeah.
It just relieves the pressure too.
Yeah, it takes the pressure off. But I also know that he will, knowing this student, do that.
Yeah.
He will take care of it. I don't have to
Because
worry
you
about it.
showed him what it was about, what compassion was about.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I didn't
but-
want him not saying hello to me anymore just because he thought he owed me.
Yeah.
So
That's lovely.
Yeah. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful. So, so this is just a little bit about the wonderful types of information and conversations and examples that Priscilla and Heather are offering on their channel. It's called the Crone Zone Conversations with the Ancients, and it is just it's phenomenal. It's really
Thank you.
very, very needed and very much appreciated, and really deep content. And they present it to you in a way that is understandable and something that you could research more. I listened to the one about aromatherapy. Oh my gosh, I am such an aromatherapy like crazy nut.
That was so hard, and we had presented so much information, but it was like you couldn't not say this. But I could have done another 2 or 3 hours on it because we got to just do the basics and let you guys go wherever it take it.
Yeah.
Go there.
Go there.
It's an introduction.
Whatever really interests you, go there.
I'd like to have, or we have talked about this, we'd like to have roundtables with other people on our channel, kind of like this, where we can take one of those topics and pick it apart and dissect it and see what what 4 or 5 people like about it or don't like about it, just discussion, so that we can hit more aspects than just what the two of us have put together and dive a little bit deeper into things that interest people. So you guys out in the chat room, please let Jean know if there's anything that you all are interested in discussing, or let us know, and
we will go ahead and run down some of those rabbit holes.
Yeah. And how many you have, like 50 or 60 videos up? I don't know.
It's almost, I think it's this week. Tomorrow, what's today? Friday. Tomorrow is 58, I believe.
Wow.
So we've really done a few. But before we go, Jean, can I just say I had the most amazing reading from Akashic Bob this week.
Wow.
On Wednesday. And I highly recommend him to anybody that's interested in having their records read, because he went so deep. It was so phenomenal that even Jean was in it. Even Jean popped up in the reading. But we've known that since we first met, that we have a past together, and I don't know what else to say about it. It was just phenomenal, and I highly recommend him. And he is going to be on our show September 18th. I believe that's a Sunday at noon Eastern time. And
clear my calendar.
I'm so excited that he's decided he would join us because he's phenomenal and he can go deep. He took my life back to Sirius, the beginning of the Sirius star system. And he said he couldn't, I'm such an old soul, he couldn't go that far back.
Wow.
Whatever that means, I'm not quite sure. But I was like, oh, wow. So I would check him out if you guys have any interest in that. And if you don't make an appointment with him, you want to after you see him on our show, I'm sure. So let me thank you for saying that.
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing very much. Yeah, it's been a real pleasure having both of you on and having everybody here in the chat. I just want to say a couple of hellos to Jill Sinanan and to Ruth and Ron on Conditional Love, Jackie, Jacaranda. Sorry, Jackie. And Dave.
Jacaranda. There's a tree called Jacaranda.
Okay, Jacaranda. Thank you. Dave Maud, I'm kind of and Valerie B. And I know I saw Wisdom Seeker Joan in here, Ruth, Lauren.
Yep.
We want to
Thank you all very much. And I know there's so many of you also watching. I see Jan's Free and Sharon Sipe.
All kinds of, hi, everybody. I see you.
We do. And a couple of people just pop on and say hi. And we know that you're listening, and that's absolutely great. You don't actually have to be in here. Oh, Nancy Riker, hi, thanks. She says, thank you, ladies. And Swampy63. So if you resonate with something, or if you're curious about something, it will only enrich your life. It'll only enrich your soul. And it doesn't really cost anything to contemplate and to develop these practices on your own. There's a lot of information out there, and there's a lot of paths to the top of the mountain. Is that what they say?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Find your own.
Yeah, we are each individuals. And when you resonate with somebody, it's not just personality, it's vibration. It's your soul vibration that is attracted to whatever it is. And your soul's vibration will bring you to the right information as well. So if you keep coming back to aromatherapy or light language or something, or astrology or something, whatever it is, there's a reason for it. Trust that the universe is guiding each and every moment of our lives. Everything happens for a reason. It's all orchestrated.
Absolutely. 100%. Everything you just said.
Yes.
So I just wanted to thank you guys. We're not going to have any readings today. I really love interviewing these ladies. I thought that this subject was so important just to review and to discuss and to consider offering the opportunity for maybe something that we could have said, or you can go back and watch the full show. It was jam-packed with so much information. We just skimmed the top right here. So go back and watch the full show. It's number 48 or what?
48.
And it's good information and a lot of information. So we just thank both of you for being here. We thank everybody for being in the chat. And I'll be back tomorrow with Kevin, the Healing Medium, and we'll be doing live readings tomorrow.
And we'll be back at 3, our usual time.
Great. Tomorrow you guys are on again.
Saturdays. Okay. Yeah. We'll have our shows on Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine.
Wow.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it will. Good. All right, everybody. We love you. We thank you. Sorry there weren't any readings. I wonder if I hope if you're not disappointed that there weren't any readings, but come back tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Lots of love.